Welcome back. Allison Floyd, Keith Sterling live with you here on WPDE News Channel 15 to bring you up to date. We've had tornado touchdowns along the Grand Strand today from a pretty severe storm that has gone through. We have video of the one over the 2nd Avenue Pier. We've had damage reports, power lines down, some roofs off some buildings, that type thing. North Myrtle Beach had a tornado as well.
Yeah, quite dramatic video to show you. We're going to check in now with Jim Armstrong, who's live out and about in Horry County with more on the situation there. Jim?
Well, Keith and Allison, first off, we've had to come back to our studios here on Highway 501. Lots of lightning still in the area in North Myrtle Beach, and of course that makes it impossible for us to put the mast up on our live truck without putting ourselves at risk. But here on 501, you can still see the very dark, very intimidating storm clouds lingering to my east right now, covering the entire length of the Grand Strand. To my west, which you can't see, the sun actually breaking through. But to the east, where there's still a lot of storm activity going on, you can see those clouds over my shoulder. Team 15 was the first team on the scene in North Myrtle Beach. Let's take a look at some of the pictures that we shot for you there. We were there just seconds after what witnesses say was a touchdown of a tornado. There you can see some of the damage. Several telephone poles down. In some cases, some snapped right in half, falling across the lane of travel, blocking traffic on Kings Highway there, or rather Highway 17 at that point in the North Myrtle Beach area. We were just south of the Conway bypass, the Colonial Mall area. There you can see some of the debris left in the road. Horry County Fire was just one of the crews that responded to the call of emergency. Traffic was able to flow back to normal, but again, a lot of people left without electricity up there, a lot of damage in the road. Several people actually saw this twister, or what they thought was a twister, touchdown, did a lot of damage, as you can see there. Let's go ahead now and hear from one of the eyewitnesses who spoke with us just minutes after this tornado touched down in North Myrtle Beach.
We were inside getting ready for work, and next thing we knew, it hit in the front of the restaurant, and we saw the winds, and then we were all looking out the window, and we saw the water swirling, things flying. I mean, it was quick.
What was going through your mind when you saw it?
Just everybody get away from the windows, you know, get wherever you can get to get away from it. But really, there was nowhere to get away from it. So.
How long were you watching it on the ground?
Probably about 3, 4, 5 minutes. It was on the ground, but it had the water behind Chestnut Hill, probably 2 foot, and just swirling, and it was pretty incredible.
Ever seen anything like that before?
Not in 30 years in Myrtle Beach, no, no.
Now again, a lot of incredible pictures to show you there. You're looking at Restaurant Row in North Myrtle Beach again. Team 15 was actually on the Conway bypass on Highway 22. We saw what looked to be a tornado, what witnesses say was a tornado touchdown. Tremendous amount of traffic, of course, in the area. A lot of lightning. We left there probably about 15 or 20 minutes ago. Still a lot of lightning in the area when we left, but as you can see there, we were there when emergency crews were responding. We've talked with officials in North Myrtle Beach, haven't heard of any injuries yet. That's very important to talk about. As far as we know now, no injuries, but plenty of people who were shaken up by what you can see there. They say all of a sudden the winds picked up, became very windy, very dark and rainy, and before many people knew it, there was what looked to be a tornado. Something touched down. They say it lingered on the ground for as long as 3, 4, perhaps even 5 minutes. Sure, it felt much longer to the people who were actually watching it, that actually took a roof off one of the restaurants near where we were. Again, the video you're seeing there is from Restaurant Row, just a little bit south of the Conway bypass overpass on Highway 17. Of course, Team 15 will continue to update this story, but we wanted to show you some of the first pictures of some of the damage caused by the weather activity earlier this afternoon. Send you back to Keith and Allison right now, but for right now, I'm live in Horry County. Jim Armstrong, WPDE News Channel 15.
All right, Jim, thank you. We'll check back in with you. I know you're pretty busy out there.
Yeah.
Let's take again a look at the video once again from our tower cam at the Myrtle Beach Pavilion. Around 4 o'clock this afternoon, for those of you just getting home, quite a sight to come home to on this Friday afternoon.
Yeah,
that's down at the 2nd Avenue Pier.
2nd Avenue North Pier, which is just down from the Myrtle Beach Pavilion. Our weather center, of course, is right there at the Myrtle Beach Pavilion, which is about 8th or 9th Avenue North. This had actually come from the north side and come down. It came down over Ripley's, believe it or not, over the Myrtle Beach Pavilion, which was open at that time, and headed south. And we're going to head south right now as well. Billy Huggins, our general manager, is in Murrells Inlet. And Billy, what have you seen today?
Well, it was an interesting afternoon. We got a call from Victoria. We were actually out on the point at Garden City. For the people who live on the south end, they're very familiar with that area. we've got family and friends in town, had our children out there, and we get a call from Victoria, and I had literally just told our friends here from Augusta that we didn't have to worry about that storm because our weather patterns, they don't come from the north. And I was saying, gosh, it looks like Myrtle Beach and North Myrtle Beach are just getting pounded. About that time, the phone rings. It's our news director, Victoria Spesco, and my wife answered and said, hey, there's a tornado live on the air right now. We're tracking it, and it's headed south. So we ran up and down the beach, because there must have been 50 to 75 people out there with children by boat. All by boat. That's the only way to get out there. And said, guys, get your kids and get off the beach. There's a storm headed this way. And we got back to the dock at Merle's Inlet right before the heavy rains hit. But as we started traveling in, it was amazing to see the display of lightning that we could see out of that storm as it moved south. And as I told my wife, I said, what would we have done if we had not gotten that call? Because we would have sat right out there relying on our normal weather patterns for that storm to move in the other direction. And as Ed, I heard him mention earlier, it's just an unusual storm track for us. But it was all we've had so far is a lot of lightning and a lot of rain.
Yeah, Billy, I tell you what, thank goodness for technology, we say, for our tower cam there. Hopefully got the word out to some folks. Billy, did you actually see a cloud, a funnel cloud anywhere down in the Merle's Inlet area?
No, what we could see was the rotation. I know Ed was talking about the little storms that spin out off it, and when we were coming in, you could see the billowing, like, lead edge in the front of the thunderstorm, and then you could see the little, I don't know, I heard Ed mention it earlier, but the little storms trying to spin off on the sides of it and come down and form a spout. But my children, I have a renewed respect for Mother Nature. I can say that, along with myself and my family.
Absolutely.
What about any damage in your area down in the Merle's Inlet? Have you heard of any or seen any?
On the inlet side, we haven't seen a thing. Now, as far as over at Garden City Point, as we came in, I know, because you're going about a mile and a half further out toward the ocean when you go over there. We didn't see anything. We were leaving, just wind and heavy rains and a lot of sharp lightning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, Billy Huggins live there from Merle's Inlet. Billy, thank you very much. Ed Piotrowski, of course, been keeping an eye, literally, on this storm since it came over the pavilion around 4 o'clock. Ed?
It's just amazing what I saw with my own eyes. First of all, starting on the north side of the Myrtle Beach Pavilion here, probably up at around 21st Avenue or so. Saw the water spout. It was heading towards shore, and it was just amazing. It came right ashore, rolled right over Ripley's Believe It or Not, and then came over the Myrtle Beach Pavilion, which was packed with people. People scrambled everywhere. They were running in all different directions trying to find a safe place to be. Apparently most people did, because there were only minor injuries out at the park, and the folks here at the pavilion did a wonderful job of securing all the folks around here to make sure that they were safe. And then it actually moved further south across 8th Avenue North. And then a second one started to form right along the immediate coast. That one became the dominant tornado and just spun just north of 2nd Avenue North Pier. There's a tremendous amount of debris, as you saw on that, a debris cloud as well as the funnel itself, with those small vorticities kind of rotating, or vortices I should say, rotating around the actual funnel itself. Let me show you the live Doppler radar here and show you what's happening. The cluster of storms that was producing all these tornadoes appears to be off the coast of the Carolinas right now. This is the most intense part of that thunderstorm complex. It's out over the ocean. But as a precautionary measure, because the back side of this storm, or the west side of this storm, is still somewhat over the land, a tornado warning is in effect for eastern parts of Georgetown County, for perhaps a water spout or two in and around or just to the east of Pawleys Island and also over Wynyard Bay. These two are moving southward, so if you're in those communities, anywhere from Pawleys Island, Litchfield Beach, all the way down to Georgetown, your best bet at this point in time is to get to the lowest floor possible, away from all windows, and stay there until you know that things are all clear. And that may be the fire department coming to tell you that, or you see the storm continue to move to the south, and you know your threat is over with. But again, on Doppler radar here, the bulk of this heavy storm, the severe storm, is now over the ocean. That's the primary threat, out over the ocean now. Perhaps a slight chance of a tornado or a waterspout touching down right along the immediate coast in Georgetown County. And to recap for you, a tornado warning is in effect for eastern Georgetown County. That goes until about 6:40 tonight. Some of the rotation that we normally check out, the bulk of that rotation is no doubt over the coast, and just off the coast, actually, out over the ocean. There is a flash flood warning in effect for Horry and, let's see, western parts of Brunswick County.